Y'all good to go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get it.
Wait. So
All right.
Mr. LP not gonna come in? Like, we're not gonna introduce him and then he slide in?
We don't do that for nobody else. What you mean?
We don't do it for nobody else. We also didn't send him an email. So we can't do nothing special?
The most unconventional interview of our
We
year,
didn't send
of our
everybody
season.
emails, so don't feel bad, LP. We didn't send everybody emails.
Oh, man.
You are listening to the Soul Curators podcast, where we get into the funk and soul of things. It's all about good conversations about music. So come join us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Soul Curators podcast, powered by the MPN Network. We are back. Season 2 has been super fruitful. It continues to be. You know what I mean? Applause for that, because it's necessary. It's key. And you got your man, Mr. Goodbar, here live from Houston, representing the Remedy. And we have the one and only Christina Curates. What's going on, ma'am?
Good evening, everyone. How are you guys?
You hitting us with that old, that classic. Good evening. Here are the minutes for this evening ceremony. Like, you don't never. You so professional. We be trying to. We sound so ratchet compared to you.
Sometimes I'm professional. Sometimes I'm not.
We ain't got you riled up yet. We know it's coming. It's all good. Did you enjoy? Did you
take something for me to get her riled up?
Yeah, you're gonna start her up. I know it. Did you happen to see some of the footage from Homecoming this past week? From
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was some good. I saw some good footage. I was like sitting at the window, like, wish that was me.
I know, right? Shout out to all our rattlers. We got our brother Soup's Kitchen in the building. What up?
Yo, I be feeling so left out when y'all get to talking about like y'all college days.
Bro, the wild thing about fam was like a whole nother planet, bro. It really.
It just, I don't know. It's like I just be feeling like
that's why we bring you in. Yeah, like
take him to a homecoming 1 year so he can be wow.
Yo, and that's exactly what I was thinking, Christina. We gotta take him to a homecoming 1 year. Let him just be like, what the?
either that or the classic, one of the two.
Or the classic.
Classic crazy too now.
Classic is Florida all the way. I mean, You know what I'm saying? It's FLA all the way. Homecoming
straight off.
Or if like the Southern game has become popular too. So you might be real culture shocked if you go to the classic.
For real.
There's two things I want to do. I want to go to either y'all homecoming or classic, and I also want to go to Howard. Like, I want to do a Howard homecoming.
Yeah, that's a whole nother experience too. Yeah,
that was the only. Before I die, that's all I want to do.
Well, we might have to make that happen. And since we were talking about Florida, it's only right that we introduce our special guest today who represents Florida in a different type of way. You know what I mean? Just when you think about entrepreneurs and one of the more effective, the Swiss Army knife of Southeast of the Southeast. You know what I mean? We got to speak about this gentleman. The larger umbrella that we cast him under is going to be entrepreneur, but there's so many things underneath it. I mean, his hat rack is extensive. You know what I'm saying? MC, DJ, student, leader, a facilitator, media mogul, all these other things, and probably some more things he's going to tell us about as we get on. You know what I mean? We got to make some noise for that. So, this is long overdue. And this is a very special episode of the Soul Curators podcast. All of them are special, but this one's tugging at a different type of heartstring. We have the one and only Mr. Al Pete, the owner and creator of the MPN Network.
Do I applaud myself
He's our special
again?
guest today. You have to give yourself a clap because we're going to do it. Yes, sir.
Myself again. Fuck it.
You have to. You absolutely have to.
What's up, family?
We thank you for being... For allowing us to put you on the platform, on a pedestal here, you know what I mean, to uplift you and represent you to people, you know what I mean, so that you can get like we told, a lot of our artists and guests that we've had before, we are a floral podcast. We are here to give flowers while people can still smell them. You know what I mean?
Yo,
and
you
it's
said
only right.
You said when you said that on the other joint, I was like, yeah, I love the way that you presented that, the floral.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I would because I feel like life's too short, man. And speaking of which, to pivot real briefly, because it needs more attention than we about to give it. Rest in peace to the master teacher Quincy Jones, who we lost just recently. And somebody that we wish we could have had an opportunity to give flowers to. You know what I'm saying? And we don't put that morbid energy on anybody, but it's just the fact that today and tomorrow I ain't promised. So today we're gonna give love, we're gonna give energy, we're gonna give flowers to all of that. And we're gonna, in his honor and in his spirit, we're gonna salute those that we care about and love and lift up and respects, most importantly. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let Christina get to it.
So let's get to know Mr. LP a little bit. What did you want to be, or what did you want to do when you were growing up?
Ooh.
Little Mr. LP.
Little Mr. LP. Outside of wanting to be a musician in some form or fashion way, because I really thought I was going to be a saxophonist. I thought I was just going to be traveling the world playing saxophone. Because when I started playing saxophone in the 4th grade, and held on to it all the way to college. And then I stopped playing in college. I play often now. Like I literally play like twice a week. Like for 30 minutes, I just jump on and just play. So I still play it. But I thought I would have been like a full-time musician, which it kind of seemed like I am. But I mean, it's been periods of my adulthood life where I was a full-time musician, aka DJing and rapping. So I guess that worked. Outside of that, I used to draw a lot. I would love to get back to drawing, but I used to draw a lot. So during middle school, I got introduced to like STEM type programs, so which put me in the engineering field. So my first major was civil engineering. So I wanted to do like architect work. Like I said, I was gonna build like another bridge here in Jacksonville. As if we don't need any more bridges here in Jacksonville.
Right.
So I wanted to draw. I would draw, but I wanted to draw in regards to like cultural, civic stuff. So those were like the two things that I wanted to be when I grew up. Sports. Okay. I played sports, but I was like, nah, I ain't doing no sports. I really want. Well, I played basketball and baseball, more so baseball than anything. And baseball was fun, but I mean, I was just like, when I got hold of the instrument, when I started playing piano and then playing saxophone, I was just like, nah, the hell with sports.
1 second, Soups, before you ask your question, one more question to piggyback on the question. Have you ever considered or played your saxophone in your music? Your own music. Have you ever played or thought about playing your saxophone?
I thought about playing in my music, but I definitely would like to pop out and show people like at a gig. Like I would love to be doing the DJ. I would love to DJ and then just come from around the corner with a saxophone, or like a
crazy
band playing, and then I just they might be like special guests. Blah 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 blah. I don't even want no introduction. I just want to walk on stage playing my saxophone. Like I would love to do something shouts out to cats downstairs. Chris White, and my uncle Trey. They were like the two people I looked up to growing up because they were like the best saxophonists in Jacksonville. Like nobody could touch them at all. So learning from my uncle and watching him play, and then learning from Chris right before I got to the high school because he came out. When he graduated, I was coming in, but we would go over there as middle schoolers and see the band play, and them boys was like very inspirational to me. So like my high school years, I took saxophone very I mean, I took it seriously when I started, but like I was like freshman section leader. I was a section leader every year. And because I was just so serious about playing it, and it was like Chris White. So I would love to get on stage with Chris White and play the saxophone with him, because he's been such an inspiration to me. And I had to remind him of that shit every time. But yeah. But so maybe you might hear something in a song or two. You never know.
I wanted to you kind of just kind of sped fast, like real fast over the basketball part. Like
Where this is going?
What about the suits? What about the suits?
with your size and everything, baseball is perfect. So like, why did you pick basketball? Like,
why did I talking about play it?
Yeah.
Well, when it came to the sports stuff, I played sports only because everybody else played it. Like, you know, I had brother, cousins, friends in the neighborhood, so I would just play. You know, I would play sports because they was playing it. So when it came to football, I played it. But like playing orchestrated stuff, I honestly was just scared to play basketball and football in school. But baseball, I felt a little more comfortable doing. So yeah, it would just baseball was the sport that I felt comfortable with. I felt comfortable in basketball and football, but I don't know. I was intimidated by like basketball at a high school. Oh my God, no, that's so intense, dog. Like
the only position you played in basketball was point guard, right?
Your little brother gonna send shots at you through this interview. I just want you to understand this.
So, and then
your little brother gonna send shots.
Especially with you going to Reebok back when we were in school was a powerhouse in the state. So it was very competitive for basketball, at least,
and football. I mean, yeah, you know, when you think about Reebok, shouts out to Reebok. Die-hard Trojan over here. What's happening? But like in the 90s, man, yeah, in the 90s was crazy. Like even during like in gym class, if you ain't had no hoop game or nothing like that, you weren't stepping on that court. Like you would just sit over there because let me see, like majority of the team, like maybe like 90% of the team was like great, and then the other 10 was like good. Yeah. And so and that's for men, that's for boys and girls. Like the girls was crazy as well. So it's like if you ever jumped on the court trying to do something, you better be playing around. And so I was not trying to do that in a organized setting. Saxophone? Nah, ain't nobody touching me on that at all. Like nobody.
Since we talking about Reebok, shout out to my ex-boyfriend from junior high. I mean, from my junior year. I went to prom with one of the top. He was actually right.
Ooh la 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 la.
He was actually right under Vince Carter for like Mr. Basketball of Florida that year. And his name was Gary Anderson. So just shout out to Reebok. But anyway, go ahead with your next
hold up. How we shooting you? How we shouting out you fumbling the bag, Christina?
Well,
he probably selling used cars. She didn't fumble the bag. He probably selling used cars right now or something like that.
That's because he doesn't have a good woman on his arm. He fumbled the bag too. I'm gonna bring it back, sis.
Did you say used cars? Oh my God.
We're gonna keep it G. It's about Al P. So I will have a conversation.
I'm gonna bring it back to you, sis. You know I got you. You know I hold you down. You know what, Al P? I wanna kind of remark on something you mentioned just a moment ago in regards to the opportunity to play your saxophone on stage with your mentor. And I really hope that you get a chance to do that, because I mean, we've talked extensively over the last couple of years. I don't recall ever seeing your face light up like that before. Like that seems to be something that's really on your bucket list. So, and I know we got a lot of things we got to get into about you or what have you, but what I'm hearing from the short part of what we've talked about thus far is that what you have become is an amalgamation of the community that raised you. because you've referenced so many different people that have influenced you positively to get you to where you are. While we know, and I'm sure this is something we'll get to later in this conversation, that there are people who are watching you who are inspired by your walk. Can you talk about how important it was for your community around you? Kind of just elaborate just a little bit about, the people who you looked up to, from the athletes to the musicians to the entrepreneurs to the teachers, just how you embodied those things that they invested in you and you still see in yourself to this day. Because there's a lot of things I'm sure that you still act on based off of what your community gave to you growing up.
That's a loaded question. Not on you, but like just for me to answer, because being transparent, I don't sometimes I don't know or think that people really understand like how I look at them. And or even think, or a lot of the things that I do is solely because of said person or said community or whatever. Like, I don't know. That's a loaded ass question. Yeah, I don't think people understand it. I wish people would, and I don't know. I can't tell them to not. I can't tell them to say, to be like, hey, we see you, this, that, blah, blah, blah. You would hope that you do. And, sometimes I don't even know. I just kind of walk the light. But that's because I've seen people kind of walk the light. In my mind, I was thinking, nobody told them to do this. Somebody might have, their mom, their dad, or whoever. But when I saw them, they were so fearless. And they were so like, okay, well, we just going to experiment. We're just going to try it out. One of the people that I'm going to forever be in debt with in my mind is my Uncle Trey, Trusky. But like that guy did any and everything that he wanted to fucking do. And he made all that shit look cool. He was a main reason why I played saxophone. Like I wanted to play trumpet, but then I saw him play saxophone and was like, nah, this shit look cooler. And so I adopt that. The way that he dressed, all the things, him rapping, him DJing, like everything that I do, it's because of him. And it's like, sometimes you just wish that person or that community will understand that so they can kind of give me grace a little bit, because I'm already putting this hardship on myself when I'm doing all the things that I'm doing. But like, it's, you can't really tell them. You can't really, I don't know what to say to these people or the community to be like, hey, all y'all have inspired me to do this, and this. I don't even know if this shit even right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing it. I hope I answered that question or whatever. That's something I'm gonna take back with me and really like.
Well, and let me elaborate why I asked you that question, because, and I don't want to jump ahead because I know we have a bunch of questions to ask you just to kind of share with the listeners, but from knowing you personally, I know that there's a story to be told, and I think that you have a wealth of experience and knowledge that would definitely, could very well be captured in something, just off the top of my brain, off the top of the dome. And I feel like it will be invaluable. Let's say hypothetically, if you decide to just start writing down something that just your experiences, just your, just a list or a storyline of your experiences. I think that could be like a time capsule for those that are watching you that you don't know that are watching you, because it's invaluable information, similar to the information you got from those that you watched. And if they're still watching you, I think I would imagine that they recognize what their part in your life is when they see you do it. You know what I mean? They may not say it, but they may say, I see him doing that. I did that too. I think he got that from me. And keeping their hands off, because it's like, I don't want to put my insecurities on my experience on your experience. I'm going to let you forge your path because you may experience something different. I'm just speculating, but that's why I asked that question, because from the short time we talked about millions of subjects we talked about, I'm like, this is a wealth of knowledge that I think people need to have access to. And there's a lot behind your stoicness. You know what I mean? and it's only because you protect yourself out of a position of wanting to be vulnerable but not too vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there is you are a living library, even where you are right now. So sometimes, libraries got to get their information from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So those are the type of things I'm thinking about. So it's not a question I asked that I thought you might have a complete answer to, but just something to kind of ponder about how we look at what's behind us as opposed to where we're going. Because you're the type of person, you don't look back. You do it and you move on and go this way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many people that watch you and admire you and respect you for what was back there, even though you are already over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that's something we gotta point out for you.
So
yeah, for sure, man. But real quick, it was funny because one of my homies, shouts out to Crate Digger, we was talking the other day, and he was kind of telling me that I'm like this Jedi. Like he mentioned Jedi, and I'm like, shit, now I gotta take time to fucking think about that part and how that how that associates. You know what I'm saying? So him saying that, you saying what you saying, yeah, these are things that I can write down and kind of ponder and find a way to, tell that story to folks, or give people the library of our people.
And I think that if you haven't already, letting those folks know in some form or fashion that they have influenced you to be who you are to a certain extent, of course, because some of this is your individuality, playing as well. But can you tell us the age difference? Because you refer to your uncle, and I'm not sure if people realize that you guys are pretty close in age.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years apart. So he's 3 years older than me. So yeah, 3 years older than me. So basically, he put me on everything. Like when he was learning hip hop, I was right behind him learning hip hop. When we was going through the cultural aspects of the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like he was, a couple steps ahead of me. But me looking at him and his friends, I felt like it was weird too, because like, when you growing up like 3 years apart, like I'm looking at him like an adult, and I'm essentially a kid. I'm talking about from height, and we talking about height. The Petersons are very some short guys, and so I'm the tall. I'm one of the tallest out of the short people in my crew. So like Trey is like short. He's shorter than me, but like as a kid, he was taller than me. So like, huh?
Nothing.
Man, you say
He's a hater. So that's a good segue to my next question. I don't know if you guys had another question, but so when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Shit.
Oh, I hit a brown sugar theme.
No.
I was just messing with you.
You know how he just said about hip, and I mean, tell the world, because
hip hop. So I mean, through my Uncle Trey. Like, I grew up on my mom's side, and my mom's side, my mom and my grandparents. I grew up over there, but like on the weekends, we would go over to like my other grandparents' house, which is Trey's mom and dad, which is my grandma and granddaddy. So my mom's side of the family is more contemporary, more contemporary rhythm and blues, gospel for sure, because we stayed in church, so we got that part. There was no type of hip hop being played at all. I could not play any hip hop growing up at my mom's house. So all my hip hop was coming from my dad's side, and my granddaddy was real big on jazz and blackness. So that's where I was getting all that from. And my granddaddy always rewarded his kids and the people around him with experimentation, or just listening to certain things, watching certain things. But he was very centered in on blackness. Like that's why I get a lot of my blackness from that angle. I got blackness on my mom's side, but when we was over there, we was listening to like jazz like crazy. BET was on like crazy. So of course when when BET come on, I'm seeing the likes of Big Daddy Kane, Tribe Called Quest later on, but like the 80s hip hop. So Big Daddy Kane, NWA, Ice-T,
Run DMC.
Run DMC for sure. I mean, hence why I love Adidas. All of that, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I fell in love with hip hop. But even in the midst of that, I remember in 4th grade specifically, we had to write a poem. Like my teacher told me to write a poem, and I wrote this poem, but I didn't realize, like, I was listening to the hip hop stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of doing the rhyme schemes just like they're doing the rhyme schemes, and they rapping over beats, but I'm hearing these saxophone, these trumpet riffs that my granddaddy is playing. Mm-hmm. What the hell is this called? And then I'm getting schooled by my uncle and all that. And the next thing you know, I'm reading magazines. Magazines coming in, the Source magazine, Ebony, and all that stuff is coming in. So I'm reading all that, putting like 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together. And I'm like, oh shit, this hip hop? Yeah, I won't in on this shit. And so 5th grade is when it was on. Like I had that saxophone. I had me a cassette tape. I would record a lot of music from the radio. Shout out 92.7, all that stuff, and I would just listen to it, and that's how I got all that stuff.
Okay.
So you kind of answered my question.
I think hold on real quick. I think it's funny as hell when Soups does this, like. Continue though, brother.
Hey, hopefully one day I'll see this on Twitter or something as one of the memes. Like,
do we need to make it into a meme?
Hey,
we can make you into a meme. That's easy as all I do is.
I think you kind of answered my question, or was going to answer my question. My question was like, when did you write your first rhyme, and do you remember it? So, like, is that poem that you wrote, was that considered your first rhyme?
I don't consider it as my first rhyme. I consider it as my first poem. But I do have like a rhyme that I wrote.
It's not necessary if you don't feel comfortable.
It was like, okay, all right. So it was like, Weeble wobble weeble, move out the way, dear. It's Al. And then my brother was like, it's who? Big Al is here. The Chico, the master, the something, the hombre. I'm coming at you, just like Snoopy, Droopy. It was just crazy. Like,
but you got to remember, if that was remember the time period in which that was written, though.
Yeah.
Like, that worked for that time period. You know what I mean? Because that's how we was rhyming.
And it was funny because I got that rhyme scheme off listening to 93 to Infinity, Souls of Mischief.
Mm-hmm.
They had that song Never No More, and it was kind of so it was like that part. It just seemed very cool. Another thing too, I adopted to that style of rapping. Like, so when Tribe Called Quest came around, I'm like, yo, this. It was like, I don't want to say emo rap, but it was kind of like that cool, chill, thought perspective rap. So I went down that Al like crazy. I was like, oh, this is Al Pete right here.
So was it by you being down in Florida? That's South, and at that time, y'all had quite a few Southern artists down there. But the type of music that they were making at that time wasn't the Tribe and the 90, the Souls of Mischief, those guys. It was more, bounce and stuff like that. So what made you go into that direction of being lyrical and putting your rhymes, and not so much bounce?
It was the way that it felt to me. When I listened to, it was no disrespect. I mean, think about the whole story of me playing, sports versus the music part. It's almost kind of like similar to that. But like, Tribe Called Quest touched my soul. Like, it would just, I can relate to them. You know what I'm saying? And it was more the and I just, when you find yourself as a person, you like, okay, why am I emotionally attached to this? Or, so I was going through those growing pains, like. All my cousins, brothers, and friends, they boys, and they just they being guys and they being men, but like, I feel like I'm kind of tapped in another kind of way. And that's why, that's a whole nother conversation that that can be revisited, that we can talk about when we're talking about adolescence, adolescence and men or even women going through, listening to stuff and trying to identify who they are. But for some reason I was tapped in so much to like my inner self and how I felt, to where when it came to the music, I was like, yeah, certain songs are just like really, really hitting to me. And so that's when I went that direction. Like I always like just the soulfulness. I mean, playing the saxophone too, learning music, listening to stuff when I was cleaning up at my mom's house, going to my granddad's house and listening to, Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic, like, you know what I'm saying? And turn around and listen to damn BB and CC Winans, and then reading poems, reading Black Boy by, and so all that stuff get mixed in, but I always could find like the stuff that touched me like in my soul. So that's why I just gravitated to the likes of like Tribe Called Quest. Like Tribe Called Quest was like my favorite group at the time until Outkast came out. Then when Outkast came out, it was a wrap. I was like, and then because it was from the South too, so it made it more relatable. Like I'm like, they like 6 hours away from us, but the stuff that they was talking about, I was like, I can relate to this like times 10. So,
So did you, like, growing up, did you feel like, no point intended, but like, did you feel like an outcast? Like, because you down there in the South and you got this northern type of sound and different things like that, did you feel like an outcast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, from the way that I looked at my uncle and I felt like, it would be a good conversation to have with him, because I feel like he felt the same way. But at the same time too, it was just the way that he did. Like if he felt that way, you could never tell it, because he was stepping out, like the way that he was dressing, the way that he was talking, it just was just a different type of vibe, and he just moved with it. But for me, I definitely felt like an outcast around like my friends. But I mean, hell, with me and my brother are like night and day. But like, yeah, I definitely I felt like an outcast. I mean, hell, I still feel like an outcast. I still feel, the fish in the forest. I still feel like the damn fish in the forest, my guy. Like I still feel like that till this day.
I'm so glad you said that, because in researching your discography and engaging in it, The Fish in the Forest was the first one I went to, because I was like, that title is so fucking fire.
Appreciate it.
And it was just like, you know what I'm saying? So to that point, as far as, you have an extensive discography. It rivals a lot of people. Not too many people can say they got what you have and what you've created.
Right.
It's like, I got to ask the favorite child question. You know what I mean? Which one is your favorite child? But is there any particular project that once completed, regardless of how anybody else received it, that you felt like, I feel like my entire spirit is in this project, and this is the one that I'm probably the most proud of?
Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Peterson,
and why would you say
when
that?
I finished Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, like I felt relieved, like I'm up. Like I felt like, because I was so confined to like what people were thinking. I was really worried about like my image, how I fucking looked, and how people perceive me and stuff like that. From all angles, really, but specifically from like a musician standpoint. Feeling like an outcast, I was like, I didn't feel like my music was resonating with people like, how I felt like it would. But Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, I really said fuck it to a lot of the decisions that I made and a lot of the songs that I made. One particular song that, Under Pressure. My brother and a couple other people, they was like, do not put that song on the record. On the album. Do not put that song on the album. But I was like, it felt good to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and this is how I feel, and I'm just gonna express it. So, yes, Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood. Like I remember when I got done with that, I was like, yeah, this is a new type of wave for me. This is how I want. Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood set up the MPN Network. You know what I'm saying? MPN Network was not in place when it happened, but it was like visionary for me, and that album really was like, all right, this is setting the tone for me to feel the way that I feel, going towards these type of dreams and goals. So Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood. But I mean, it's so many other jams though, man. Like Fish in the Forest, dog. That Fish in the Forest is so yeah, Fish in the Forest. Shit. Yeah, Fish in the Forest and Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood. Those are like my the two shots. BABN is like a honorable mention.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's one of my. I like that album. I like the BABN. That was one of my ones that I picked.
Appreciate it.
So you mentioned MPN. I don't think everybody understands what MPN stands for.
Do they not? No, it's short. It's just short enough for Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood. It's just short for Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood, and the reason why I shortened it up because, at the time, me and at the time, me and the business partner MJ Baker, peace to her, respects to her. I was like, yo, I think we need to make this more of a network. I wanted to make it more like a media conglomerate or whatever. Like we was known for doing like the warehouse parties and doing the parties, the Groove Suite parties. The Groove Suite at that time, was really solid with doing parties. But I was like, outside of me feeling like I was just writing Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood out, because that's long. And I wasn't doing the MR either. I was doing MISTER. So then you got Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood. But then I would do the acronym, the MPN or whatever. But I just felt like in the direction that I wanted to go in, I was like, it just seems more solid to have the MPN Network. Quick flex on everybody.
I mean, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So with that, since we're talking about MPN, if you had to describe to someone how would you describe MPN and its mission?
Its mission?
Or your goal in creating MPN? Like what, when you say, you know what, because you said it, Mr. Peterson's Neighborhood kind of, the album kind of started your desire or your idea of, you know what, I'm just going to do what I want to say and do what I kind of want to do. Mm-hmm. So like what, if someone were to ask you what is MPN and what is its goal or what is its focus, what would you say?
The focus really just to highlight creators, musicians, artists, etc., small businesses in the media space that that's one of the main reasons, because I wasn't getting showcasing those things. And I'm like, why y'all not at my shows? Why y'all not, busting down the doors to interview me? Like, and it was funny because I had a conversation today. Shouts out to Mecca the Marvelous. He called me out the blue and asked me about a particular venue that was closing down. And he was like, what does that mean for the culture? What does that mean for the hip hop culture here in Jacksonville? Because the up and coming people don't have venues anymore to showcase their stuff. Like we don't have that many venues down here. And so that was one of my main concerns when I was coming up. Like we had these venues, but it's like nobody else outside of us talking about it or your friends talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. And I was like, I want to be able to create something that everybody can get heard on. So that's one of the main things, is just to really empower people that's up and coming. I mean, even seasonal, that have that space, that they need a space for somebody to understand what they're going through and be able to get the information out to the masses and let people know that like they're being heard. So being the fact that a lot of people feel like I'm the spokesperson for the culture, it aligns with like my love for media, my love for communications. So it just added on to that, man. But somebody had to do it. Like, and I was like, well, I was against that like crazy. I was against doing the whole MPN network thing. I was like, no, somebody else need to do it, because I felt like I wanted my story to be told. And right. I ain't want like, you like, I got this platform, I can just tell my story on my platform, which people do all the time. But I try to not have this selfish feeling and be like, let me make sure I put on for my people. So give them the avenue to do it. So MPN is definitely like that flagship for people to come and just really express themselves. And yeah.
I'd be so serious in this. I'd be so serious and really be into the whatever we talking about, and then that hand go up, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
So I'm listening to what you're saying that you want to tell your story and everything. But do you also look at it that your story is being told through MPN, just based on the everything that's on the MPN network? You know, you've created a space for people to be comfortable. You created a space for people to be creative. I mean, this is part of your idea too, of the Soul Curators, off of Miss Christina Curate's idea of putting this on live. And you said, no, this is better than just putting it on live. This is a show. Mm-hmm. And do you understand that your story is being told through this MPN network? Just based off of everything that you got going on with this network?
No, I don't see it. I don't see it, but I'm glad that you and I would take it that others see it. You know what I'm saying? And so that means, you know, mission accomplished. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of helps me identify with like, okay, well, what's another direction that I would like to go in? Which,
right.
I talked to y'all about this, and I guess I'll put it on record. But I would love to like explore the whole like neo soul genre. Like I'm talking about like do a documentary, that type shit. Like I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? Like if I can get on some Spike Lee type shit to enhance the story, like that type of shit. I'm trying to be on that. So it feels good to know that I'm telling a story, but me seeing that, I don't see it. Because usually when I'm doing MPN, I'm always thinking about the other person. I'm always thinking about the person that's in it or the subject matter, the topic or whatever. I'm always thinking about that and being able to display it from their end. So like, let's talk about the Soul Curators. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I want y'all to have y'all identity. Y'all already have y'all identity individually. And even at this point collectively. We heard that from an episode that the people will listen to on the season finale. When said person said what he said at the end of the show, I was like, shh. Like I wasn't on camera, but I was over here like, Jesus Christ, like, oh golly, like, oh Lord, like my brain is about to go up. So with all that being said, I'm thankful that people are realizing that, you know, the story is being told, but I honestly, head down, let's work.
I'm gonna kind of jump into where Soups was at before we transition off of your artistry into your entrepreneurism. So as your creativity and your artistry evolves, when it comes to your solo projects or your projects on wax, however you want to call it, do you feel that you transition out of that space, that you said everything you want to say, or is it still a possibility for something that you might want to revisit in the future, or have you completely moved on into another creative space that has your attention?
Nah, I ain't made the album that I want to make yet.
Okay, good. That's what I was going.
Absolutely not. So I'll speak on the album later. Meaning like maybe like March or something like that. But I will be dropping the album before the year is over with. So that's G4.5, my homie Knox and Cal. We always, every 5 years, we always drop an album. So this is the year. Both of us turn 45, so we always do that. So G4.5 will definitely be out before, even if it's New Year's Eve, it's gonna drop. But
yes, sir.
Right after that, and I've been recording. But I've started recording the album. Like I just want to make the album, and the album for me would be like a mixture of Aquemini, Leave It All Behind, Common B, Nas. Nas. That's, you know what I'm saying. Like I mean, with a little bit of Ice Cube in it. You know what I'm saying. That type of feel to it. So with that album, I just need those sounds to kind of elevate my words. So once I get that sound, like that really sound, that's gonna be another album. But I feel like when I make that album, I'm probably gonna have like 3 more albums in me to where I can say more stuff. So
That's what's up. That's what we needed. We needed the people to know that it was still something. You still got something else to say.
so yeah, stadium music on that. Real quick, Soups. But like one of the missions for MPN, I don't even say a mission, but it's more like a subvision. But like I have to remember that MPN was built off music. LP was built off music. So that's the center point of like a lot of the shit that I do. So I have to revisit these spots that I came up in, just so I can be able to elevate the culture more, elevate the space more. And I say the space meaning the MPN space. So yeah, it's gonna be some rhymes. I'm gonna have to revisit the MC side because that's just number one to me. Like if I could pick, depending on the day it is, DJing might be my favorite. But like at the end of the day, MCing is always gonna be like number one to me. I'm always gonna stay true to hip hop. Always gonna stay true to the MC code. All of the things. So I can do all the other stuff, but that shit is fueled from me being an MC.
That's facts.
Oh, he mute.
Oh man, okay. He looked like he had a good one too. He had a good one too.
Yeah, he was all into it. Oh no.
Well, until we're gonna get Soups back on that. Until he comes back, as far as what we were talking about, as far as MPN, the platform itself, it originated. It celebrates and evolves around music, in addition to culture and everything else. Right? We got Soups. Say something.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir. We got you.
All right.
Before we go back to Soups, so as far as MPN, how have you seen the tree that MPN is evolve? Like since you initially planned the route, started it up, made the purpose and the goal, set the parameter for what it's going to be. How have you seen it grown, and is it growing in the direction that you needed to? And obviously, we know there's more work to be done, but as far as an institution and a house in the creative space that you've built, how have you watched it grow? How do you see it growing?
Great question. I mean, it's grown. In January, it would be 5 years. So, within the past couple months, I've been like really, and I think that's because, my thinking is due to a question, kind of stepping back, observing what's going on in the culture and the climate, as well as being in the academia space. Being in the academia space, regardless if you getting the best of it or the worst of it, it's still a benefit if you let it be a benefit. And me completing my, this trail of my academia has opened my eyes to be like, okay, let's be. I thought I was always intentional and strategic, but I wish I could throw like 2020 to 2024 away as in regards to like career wise, because I feel like I'm more strategic and intentional now. So these next 5 years is about to be crazy. Like I'm able to open up to be able to welcome in interns and getting an actual board to be like, okay, well, let's really hone in on your vision and let's really make it work. Cause it just like it's beyond it. All right. So the tree has grown, but yeah, it's a little bit of cleaning up to do, but I feel like I just put this plant down here for it to be one thing and it's turned into a whole nother thing, which is a good thing, but I need weaponry around me. So the next 5 years with me being strategic and intentional, bringing in the players and bringing in the talent to be able to say, okay, well, we got this and this. Hopefully, we can get that. That's how I'm looking at how it grew. You know, and I might be biased by saying this. People might think I'm biased, but I feel like, you know, Soul Curators, man, like y'all have been like a blessing in that, because, you know, I enjoy going back to the music aspect of things and going to the conversation of things, so that it grounds me. Okay, I'm like MPN. I'm not so admin. At least I can enjoy the conversations with the music that I love and that I planted those seeds in. You know what I'm saying? Groove Suite is like my baby. Now we talk about favorite babies. Groove Suite is the baby that you know is like good, but you can't get the resources for it. Does that make sense? Like, it's a kid where you like, that kid need to be in a I mean, Christina will understand this. Like, the kid need to be at like DA or Stanton, but I can't put them in there, so they got to go to like a regular school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so that everybody knows what we're talking about, can you explain and introduce those who don't know what Groove Suite is?
Okay,
the Groove Suite, by the way, was how I found out about you.
Yeah, so the Groove Suite, I mean, it's basically, man, it's the land of love, man. It's the land of music, where it was created by an event a space that we was at called Poppy Love Smoke. And I was able to have the liberty to play the likes of conscious hip hop, neo soul, and neo soul is like one of a big factor in Al Pete's world. And so I'm like, we need to showcase this a lot more. So I created a Groove Suite on some like, let's focus solely on these type of artists, this type of genre, this music and that stuff. We can incorporate it. We can incorporate other songs too. But it definitely needs to have like that groove or that stamp of grooveness to it. So that's what the Groove Suite is, man. I mean, when you think about Groove Suite, you think about fall time. You think about orange. You think about burgundy. You think about brown. You think about black. You think about blackness. You think about that type of stuff. So Groove Suite is that for me. Like, and
I think Johnny Simpson.
Yeah, that. I mean, Brown Sugar, Love of My Life, Common, Resurrection, Foreign Exchange, Leave It All Behind. I mean, Ice Cube, Be True to the Game, Goody Mob, those type of vibes. You know what I'm saying? Jill Scott, Glenn Lewis, Music Soul Child, Dwelle, definitely Dwelle. You know what I'm saying? Detroit. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit.
Groove Suite was really and continues to be, the way I describe it, is like a safe space for music.
Yeah.
Because I feel very comfortable when I'm listening to the Groove Suite. So that's, like I said, that's how I was introduced to you, and I was like, oh, you get about 2 or 3 O's out of me, I'm in. So I was like,
and listen, I Christina, I definitely want to like extremely give you your flowers. Let's get the stadium music going real quick, because Christina is like,
yes, indeed.
I don't have a word to even say with that, but I mean, like, the spirit is to say the least, the spirit of the Groove Suite. Like, you know, it was like, she got it, she understood it, she fucked with the vibe. She is the vibe, and so she's the reason why Groove Suite keeps going like how it goes. So yeah, man. To go back to that question, with the MPN and seeing it grow or whatever, like it's stuff like the Groove Suite that I would like to see grow, because I feel like Groove Suite is really kind of beyond me and Christina. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole community of it, and we just need to get the right weaponry to get it going and be intentional and being strategic. We had our meeting the other day, and we was like, all right, let's get you know what I'm saying? Like, we was like, that's how it is. So that's the next 5 years of MPN, like really honing in on the strategic moves and giving the people what they want.
I just wanted to say, with Christina curates and the Groove Suite, it's such a blessing to have her with the Groove Suite, because she's not an old vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, her vibe is just be some dope vibes. It ain't no other vibe over there.
Whoa.
There was some flowers in there.
You said he was gonna do it. But I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let him have it for this time. I'm chill today.
No, listen, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not. It's not a shot at you at all. Like your vibe is great.
About, like non-90s vibe.
Yes, like you keep the vibe.
But
that's the mix of vibes.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like Groove Suite, I promote the hell out of bringing like the 70s, 80s, and 90s to it because.
Yeah.
I mean, when we started Groove Suite was like what? Mid 2000s? No, like mid 2010-ish.
10-ish.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know the music that came out of that, they were sampling 70s, 80s, and 90s. So it was like, oh no, we need to educate these folks. Like let's go back to the 70s. And then at the same time, too, a lot of the Groove Suite folks are predominantly, 35 plus. So you have to cater to those people too, you know what I'm saying? And even when we started it, you can bring that down to 30 plus. But now we have a rich group of people that are well in their 40s. And
right.
And I try to be as intentional as possible, introducing them to new music. I remember the conversation me and Christina had a long time ago about the state of R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like getting comfortable with listening to the new R&B, you know what I'm saying? And the way that Christina like adopted that philosophy in her, it just made her like 10 times like dope with the music, you know what I'm saying? It was like, she was like, and I ain't trying to tell you a business item, but it's like she was like,
I was into it. That's what I was giving you your flowers for that.
It was on a podcast, so when I was in college, I was the R&B in love, hopeless romantic, right? So I listened to a lot of like R&B that was for my time. So it wasn't until, and I can't tell you what it was that made me enjoy the new eclectic Bilal, Eric Roberson. I mean, I can't tell you what sparked it, but I will say this. I know when I went to DC and saw Eric Roberson for the first time, it was during Obama's first election. And I was just like, oh my gosh, who is this person? He is singing, the music. I mean, it was just a feeling I had. Now, of course, I love Jill Scott's first album. Who is Jill Scott? I love Erykah Badu's first album. But like, I was still in that, Keisha Cole, I'm trying to think it was Mary J kind of vibe in my head. There was a period of time, like I told you guys before, that I didn't listen to a lot of music because I was personally going through things. I guess when my son was born up until maybe like 5 years or whatever. But then I said, okay, I got back into it. But I'm going back to Mr. LP because it's not about Hickson. I mean, I'm sorry, Christina. It's not about Christina.
I don't know who Hickson is.
I know, right? I just lost my question that quick. Fuck. Sorry. God damn it.
No, you said when you were talking about the music and all that. I mean, I guess the adoption of when you got back into listening to music. Yeah,
got back in. So I want you to tell. We kind of jump in, but because I was thinking about Eric Roberson. Can you tell us the story? You don't have to go too deep into the story, but do you remember when Eric Roberson came to Jacksonville and how that your light came on? In regards to Mr. Roberson, can you tell us?
This gonna be good. This gonna be good.
Oh Lord! Shouts out to E-Roll, and all that. When he came and performed, he won me over as a fan. Prior to that, I was like, I feel like he's a good songwriter, but I just wasn't fond of his singing. But like he came to Jacksonville, put on a magnificent show. At the last song that he did, he like freestyled. The way that Eric Roberson freestyles, I can tell when he's freestyling. Every time I hear a song and I'm like, he's freestyling, I can pick it out. Yep. Because that's just like that's the MC in me too, for one. And for two, he does it very well. Like, and he doesn't miss a step at all. And so when he did that and he rhymed like Jacksonville into it and all that, like as if he stayed here, I was blown. I was like, yeah, this is
it shows his MC side as well too, that he can do it so well. I mean, he just off the dome. You call out a name, and I think the second time he came, I even told him, I was like, I was yelling out exponentially or exponentiate, which of course, exponential. And he was like, I was like, what is wrong with this woman? But he was able to put it into a rhyme. Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. So I'm glad you are now over on the Eero side.
I am. I am on the Eero side. That won over. It wasn't a good look at first. Like, I don't know. I think people probably corner-eyed me when I said that I wasn't fond of Eero, but his ability, his artistry, his songwriting, and just you can just tell he's of that cloth of the culture. I was like, yeah, man. Like, so ever since then, I just been a magnificent fan. And even after that, I interviewed him for the Groove Suite podcast. Interviewed him and Demo, and that he was so fucking cool. Like he was like, man, we should go back to the hotel and record. And then we met him over there and in the lobby, and he was very welcoming, man. And it was just a recipe for a dope MC or a dope musician. And so ever since then, man, I went back and listened to all his music back, the stuff he did prior to, but of course all the work that he's done now. One of my favorite projects he's ever done was the one with Fonte.
I was just
Tigolero.
Yes. They blessed us with that. I was listening to that earlier. I'm like, we really need to get another one there. That's something else from them because that
album was crazy. Like that's like from top to bottom, that album was just.
The wild thing about that album is I remember when they announced it because they were in a hotel after doing a show somewhere and they was in there freestyling. I think they were on live or something. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we're going to do an album. And then the pandemic hit. And then I think it was either before the pandemic or something. Something happened and they didn't do it that year. And then the next year they dropped it. Just like they promised. So
yeah, I wasn't expecting them to. When I caught it, when they released it, it was just like, it was one of those type of moves, but like a good one. I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting it. And then when it came and I listened to it, I was like, yeah, this shit crazy.
Yeah, they working on number 2, for what I heard. I saw something, and they're working on.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
So, we talked about the thing that I've noticed about when we talk to you is that the number of brands that you're attached to. Mm-hmm. There's a brand for everything. Like for instance, I'm gonna throw a brand out, and I'm gonna just see if you could just give me a little bit of information on it. All right. Okay. So here's a brand, Cubicle Music Mondays.
And you want me to just tell you how it came about, that type of thing?
Yeah, just a little bit about it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I was trying to get on the radio. Well, I was trying to get on the radio. I was doing a part-time job at now iHeartRadio here in Jacksonville, and what happened? I was doing the small job where you go to a store and set up the tent and sell, and give the product. When somebody book you, they hook the radio up. You get online and be like, hey, y'all come to the store because 93.3 gonna be here, blah blah blah. So I did that for a year, and 6 months into me doing it, I started making these mixes because I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. I want to go on the radio. Every week for 6 months, I was making a mix and I was putting up under the program director's door. And they never budged. And so shouts out to Chill Will. I one of the few people that I would be in debt with when it comes to my career. But Chill Will came to me and hit me up and was just like, yo man, like, I got this online radio show. You can do a mix on here. I got a Monday slot. You can do a Monday show. It'd be 9 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. And you give an hour mix, and we promote it, and we go from there. He was like, just name it whatever you want to name it. And then, so I was still working at think I was at Bank of America at the time or something like that. But I always, I'm in the cubicle working. So I always wanted to, I could relate to the people in the cubicle because I was doing the same shit they doing, taking kids, to fucking school and eating lunches out of the machine, dealing with printers, water cooler talk, that type of thing. So cubicle music, cubicle always resonated with me because I wanted to talk to the typical worker. So it was a Monday, and I was just like, all right, cool, cubicle music. So that's how the show came about. Cubicle Music Mondays.
I'm gonna throw one more brand at you, and then I'm gonna move on. All right, Fly Socks and Tees.
Fly Socks and Tees. Then business partner MJ thought it would be cool for Al Pete to have a party, celebrate his birthday. The local celebrities and shit like that, when they do their little parties, it's gonna be whoop-de-whoop. So she was like, Al Pete needs to do a party, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, nah, fuck all that. I don't want to do all that. I said, but if we do it, we got to do it. It got to be something like interesting or whatever. And she was like, well, let's just do do it off the two things that you like a lot. And she said, you wear fly t-shirts and you always wearing dope socks. And so Fly Socks and Tees came about. So the first 2 years, it was actually my birthday party. But the third year, I was like, nah, this shit. The third year was like really, really big. Like it was so many people out there. And I was like, nah, this is community shit. So I removed my birthday away from it, which that was a good reason for me to do that because I don't want to I'm not a center of attention type of guy, as y'all probably could. I'm hoping y'all can tell. Yeah. I mean, I have to step out and do that. And I have a struggle with that when it comes to MPN because I'm being told now that, Al, you need to step out and be the face of MPN, and I don't want to do that. But neither here nor there. I moved Fly Socks and Tees into like a community-based party. So my thought was my New Year always starts in August. Everybody, and I think from a school standpoint, you go back to school, that type of thing. So I guess logically in my head, I'm thinking school starts in August. So the summertime is like, okay, let's get it in. Let's get ready. Let's party until we start the new year. And there's so many creators, influencers and people, artists that I know. I'm like, let's celebrate the year. Like whatever you have that you've done this year and you overcome it, like come and have a part, like come here and have and enjoy it. And at the same time too, you ain't got to worry about no dress code, nothing like that. Just wear a dope shirt that you feel resonate with you and your dope socks and come through.
Facts.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to bring it back, man. If anybody would like to sponsor Fly Socks and Tees, greatly appreciate it. Listen, I have the money to do it, but it'd be cool to spend somebody else's money. Commercial break.
That's facts.
The primarily you like Adidas to sponsor this dope t-shirt and socks, so,
Yeah, I don't have like Adidas shoes on me, but it's it's my Crocs, my Adidas Crocs. That's how serious I am about this shit. So
absolutely.
Quit flex.
So my question for you, we haven't really talked too much about the music, but we talked a little bit. My question is, what is one of your favorite musical moments? Whether it's a moment you being on stage, or whether it was you doing an interview with a musical hero of yours. Like, what's one of your favorite musical moments so far?
From a journalist standpoint, me bringing Zoe here. When I brought Zoe here, that was, oh man, if y'all would have been on the other side if y'all would have been a fly on the wall when that shit was happening, I was losing my shit. Like I was, I'm like, dog, Zoe, talking about coming down here, you know. And so bringing him here from a journalist standpoint and interviewing him at the event was it showed me a lot of the, like a better word, power that I had, a lot of influence that I had. And it just made things a little bit hopeful for me to bring this type of music to the city and make that lane for that. So that's one of my big moments with that. Jack's River Jams. The first time I performed at Jack's River Jams, that was in 2022. When I performed, it was like over 10,000 people.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Like that.
Dope.
Woo,
That's crazy.
Listen, man. And that was and on the real, that was the first time I ever got like a big check from rapping. But I don't care about the money part. But it was, I mean, I have to include it in that moment because at that, I felt like I had kind of arrived, so to say. I mean, now granted, I got, you know, I've done songs, on soundtracks of movies, you know, what is it called? Those independent movies. A couple of songs on there. Done a lot of like behind the scenes work for some big stuff that I don't even talk about. But being on that damn stage at Jack's River Jams, I'm talking about, like, I walked out there and I saw them sea of people. I was like, I ain't never got nervous ever in my life. And that nervousness stayed for me for like 2 seconds. And I was like, yo, we gotta let go. Like, we gotta this is the opportunity, get it in. I tightened myself up so quick, you wouldn't even had known. And I got on there and I just did what I had to do on that stage. So,
yeah.
I mean, both times, honestly, because I performed in April this year at Jack's River Jams again. And it was cool to be that. Shouts out to Love Culture for them bringing me on as, you know, on some OG shit. They're like, we need an OG on the stage. You know what I'm saying? And they let me get that space, so it was dope. So those are the two moments that I could think of. From a DJ standpoint, I remember one time I indirectly... Well, I DJ for Mario at I think it was at some type of Black Expo.
Bring my hair, Mario.
Yeah, like his DJ got sick of something at the end of the day, but he was already in Jacksonville. The DJ was supposed to come, so it was funny because I was DJing for iHeart, and I was kind of excited to be DJing for iHeart at Black Expo. They pulled me to the side and was like, yo, Mario DJ flaked. Would you mind DJing for him? I'm like, of course. When we went in the room, met Mario, we talked about his set for like 5 minutes. And he was like, well, you know, I trust what you're going to do, Got on the stage and you would have thought I've been DJing with him forever. And it was a great experience. It showed me how to pivot and how to be like, you know, being sharp on your game. Because I could have easily been like, well, what about this? I'm like, nah, man, let's get it on. Like, I've been watching all these DJs, Jam Master Jay, DJ Jazzy Jeff, you know what I'm saying? All these DJs doing the thing. And it's, you know, I'm like, okay, this is how you activate. So that moment meant a lot to me on that too.
That's dope.
Man.
It's wild that Soups asked that question. It really just kind of speaks to how we're all kind of on the same page, because I wanted to inquire with you about, you know, some of the accomplishments, because you're extremely humble, but to break down your resume, you have every reason to not be. You know what I mean? There's so many experiences that you've had and that you've done and accomplished in the creative space, whether you're the direct creative or you're working or assisting another creative, or, you know, some sort of idea you've come up with or helped EP or what have you. And, you know, I was going to ask you, you know, could you kind of identify some of those moments that stand out to you? But that to me answers that question, because it's like, I feel like we have to ask you these questions to make you remember how incredible your career thus far has been so far.
And I appreciate it
you
because
still have a lot more things to do,
I appreciate it because listen, my head be down, y'all. I'm you do the thing. Sometimes you kind of sit around and see what the impact is, but like it's funny because like the past 2 weeks, which I really needed it in my soul, that people were telling me, sharing their thoughts about me and like me being this catalyst. That's one word that people were saying. Like, I'm a catalyst to how things move in Jacksonville, and like it really touched my soul that people was thinking that way. So I need that. I need, I ain't saying that people got to like stop their life and tell me what I'm doing. Maybe I need to go back and look at the website and be like, this is all the shit I've done. Like, I mean, maybe I need to do that, but still, it still just feels good when somebody just reminds you of that shit. Because for me, I'm just always working. I'm always like, I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. When it comes to anybody that's working in the vicinity of me, and even just with myself, I'm always thinking that way. But I need that reminder. I need to. It feels good to get showered with that, and I don't take that lightly at all.
Absolutely, and you've also made a big step in solidifying your longevity because you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got mad things that you can tap into and be successful with.
Yeah.
So when we talk about it from the longevity spectrum, there's so many creators with great ideas who can't get past 5 years working in a space to do anything or accomplish things. Whereas here's a list of accomplishments that you've had while your head is down. You know what I mean? So it's very important that you're inhaling this. You know what I mean? Not to lose sight of where you're going, because you're not. But sometimes just sitting down and letting it fall on you is great. You know what I mean? And it's amazing to be part of a team that gets a chance to kind of shower you with that attention and that point and just remind you of who you are.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. And let me go back to the beginning of the conversation. Like the people that poured into me that knew or didn't know, you know what I'm saying? It would be cool to double back to these people and assist them or not even assist, but like, collaborate with them, or like if they got something going on, like I've built up these tools and these systems to be able to shine some light on what they got going on, or just to even be, memorable. Because in the midst of me being the trailblazer and people looking at me this way, like I'm cool, but y'all need to be checking these people out. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who I came up in, like I need y'all to be like look at my uncle. Like the reason why y'all love my raps is because he goddamn can rap and he can make beats.
Right.
Like y'all want to hear it? Here you go. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of shit.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So you have an accomplishment that's coming up soon, I believe in December, in terms of school. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, ma'am. December 13th, 4 o'clock, UNF Arena. I am walking across the stage with a master's degree in communication management. Stadium music. Golly, boy. I'm cutting on these microphones quick to talk about my experience with this shit, man.
As you should.
Yeah, because...
Can we pause real quick, though? Because... you getting your fucking masters.
For real.
Like, you getting your masters, you making music, like you're about to make an album, your production, like you have a production company, a network, you're a DJ, like...
a podcaster. Yep.
A podcast, like, do you...
The hat rack, bro. The hat rack is mad long.
Like, have you stopped and was like, yo, like, what am I doing? Like, that's amazing.
And
really
and
is.
even with that, I mean, I guess to add to that, like, I was part of 2 projects. I started in July. The last one is ending this Saturday. But I was the marketing director for Afros and Audio Podcast Festival, and the storytelling director for Placemaking Jacks. So adding to that, you know what I'm saying, I'm hoping these 2 I can add to my CV / resume or whatever to show that, from a marketing standpoint or from a communications standpoint that I can manage a team of people in that regard. So I had to manage like 2 teams on top of that, on all of that, as well as write papers and so.
And then interview famous people on your off time, like interviewing Marlon Wayne, like
that shit was crazy.
Getting your masters, and don't forget, like let's not, and also producing one of the greatest podcast shows of all time, the Soul Curators.
Let's get stadium music, gunshots. Lick a shot.
I just want people to, like, when they watch this, when they listen to us, when they watch this, I want everybody to understand Mr. Al Pete does our production. All we do is interview the artists. We come up with some quotes and different things from here, but the camera angles, the everything, the cuts, everything is all done by Mr. Al Pete. So he's doing this shit. We'll do this shit within like a day. And the next day, he's already got it edited, along with going to class, along with producing other shows, along with still creating music. Like, come on, y'all. Like,
for real.
This is crazy.
Let them know, Sue. Let them know.
Yeah, man. All of the things, man. And it's funny because, I mean, I have to force myself not to add more. But, I have to force myself to not add more. And that's because I just want to I want to sit back and enjoy the fruits of it, especially with the master's degree. Like, I had to tell myself, like, Pete, come on, dog. Like, you need to fucking go out of town and do some shit. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But even with that, like, I've been thinking about, I've been thinking about possibly going the doctorate route. I don't know, but I know I'm gonna take a year or 2 off and record some music and be creative, because again, like I told y'all, I have to go back to my creativeness to be able to do a lot of the things that I do. And and again, shouts out to Soul Curators for me. Y'all put me in that mode. I was telling Christine the other day, I'm like, man, I feel so bad sometimes. I don't know the music, or I know it's a lot of music coming out, but like when I'm talking with y'all, I'm writing these songs down, like, okay, or writing these albums down. I'm like, yeah, let me check this shit out, dog. Like, and so it keeps me tapped into my creativeness, and so I want to definitely work on that. But I do have to stop myself, because I'd be like, add another thing to it.
Like, hearing you say that, like, after listening to everything, and even knowing beforehand everything that you are and things that you do, when you actually like fuck with what we doing, that's bigger than what the person that said about us.
That's facts. That's facts.
Like, when you fuck with us the way you fuck with us, it's like, damn, like, we making Mr. Al P proud. Like, so to me, it's kind of like, that's a big thing for me. It's like,
yeah,
I look up to all y'all, but like, I really look up to Mr. Al P, because it's like,
facts.
It's always, I created Soup's Kitchen out of frustration. And to me, it feels like a lot of the things that you created is like, well, shit, if y'all ain't gonna do it for me, I'm gonna just do it myself. Mm-hmm. And it's not just no half-ass shit. Like, everything you do it is done great. And I'm truly appreciative to be here along with y'all, like, doing this. Having you on, like, I can text Mr. Al P, like, yo, I got a question, and it gets answered. And it's like, it's a blessing. I'm truly appreciative. I don't know what I can do to give you as many flowers as I possibly can, but like, I truly appreciate you.
Nah, man. I just want you, I want you, and I want everybody to be themselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do have my moments where, and I'm talking about in general, like the people around me or whatever. I do be wanting my people sometimes to kind of take the steps that I would take a little bit. Like, think about what, think forward a little bit. Like, think about possibly what you would like to do or whatever. And it might not happen tomorrow or whatever, but I just feel like if you got a nigga like me on the team, then we gonna figure it out and try to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the business is on that. Like I mean, it might not happen within the next 6 months or a year or whatever, but we can definitely have the conversations, and I'm gonna be the person to cheerleader you on. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yo, I just see the value of it. And I remember Christina, when she put me up on your stuff, Soups, she was like, hey, this guy named Soups does this, and I was like, all right, word, like, we're checking it out. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Christina put me up on Good Bar as well. So it's like, I look at that divine type of action or whatever. So the fact that we're sitting right here now is like, and we got people telling us that they rock with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, like stadium music. Here we go. lick a shot.
It's often. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Soups.
I just want to let Miss Christina Curates know that the same appreciative tone that we give Mr. LP, we also give you too, because we wouldn't be sitting here without you. Like, you saw a vision, you saw something in us, you saw something in me, you saw something in Mr. Goodbar, and you decided to actually put us on to doing something. So I want you to have your flowers too. So we truly appreciate you. Without you guys, like, this is impossible.
Likewise, absolutely.
Like, whoever's watching this, if Mr. LP, if you working with Mr. LP and he telling you something, listen to this nigga, because look, we started this shit last year before last, and we didn't see the vision at first, and it was just like, oh, we just doing this shit, and we was a little disappointed at first, and it was like, all right, this shit ain't, it is what it is, and just some words from Mr. LP. I believe in y'all. What y'all doing is gonna work, and this season has been our best season so far. And we're only getting better. But if Mr. LP was to sit there and be like, yeah, you know what, yeah, we wouldn't be here. But the belief that he has in us and what everything that his visions and everything that he's put into this, we one of the best podcasts out. Fuck it, like,
talk your shit.
All them other podcasts that's out here talking bullshit, don't be on no music shit, you want to be dominant off. Not over here, like, we on some real shit. So
fire it off. Talk your shit.
Thank you, Mr. LP. Thank you, Curates.
All day, my G. All day.
We appreciate you.
Al, it's said often that the mortgage you pay for life is service to others. And when you think about what people love, right? There's a lot of people that can say, I love this and I love that. But to truly show love in something is to actually work in it and leave it better than you got it. Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say you can stand where you are right now in the beginning of your journey, because you're not even halfway there yet. But even in the beginning of your journey, you kind of identified that the definition of loving music and loving culture is pretty much exemplified in your resume. I would never even ask you, nor should anyone else ever ask you, hey, do you love music, or do you love, because it's in the service that you provide in creating spaces to make sure that it's left in a better place than when you got it, in your region, in your state, everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's across the board. Anybody listening to this, that's what I want. I would want people to hear that out of everything that we've discussed, and we could have gone on for hours with a lot of the things that are connected to you. But I just want to make sure that, throughout this whole process, we don't just shout you out just because you're there. We shout you out because there's the value you put on it and you put to it. And for our platform and for all others. So we hope that, this episode of the Soul Curators that's dedicated to you, the artist, the entrepreneur, the student, the teacher, the leader, is what you, not only the listeners need to hear, but what you need to hear. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To continue on with what you're doing. We marvel at what you've done, what you continue to do, and I hope that the people who support you see that the fans that you have, make themselves known, and that your influence continues. It's this is an amazing thing, and I can honestly say I still even learned more today than I did before, and that's what it's really all about.
Indeed, man. Listen, I appreciate those words. Those words are definitely received. One thing I would like to mention is, the whole when you mentioned, leaving things. What would you say? Leaving things.
I said leaving things better than when you found them.
Yeah, and I know for me, I try my best. I try my best to live that. I'm not always as successful with that, but I will admit that I do have like the heart to try to make it better or whatever. So I just want I want people to hear that and extend grace as much as possible, because at the end of the day, I'm fighting that good fight, and I want to make sure that everybody individually and collectively is winning, is doing what they would love to do, have the spirit and all of that to go through what they go through, but be able to do the blessings that they dream of, and be able to try to do it in some type of capacity. So yeah, I definitely wanted to tap in on that, because that was a good word that you mentioned for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, matriarch, what we doing?
So what do you have in store for us in 2025? Do you have any projects you can talk about, or do you have any like plans to celebrate graduation? Like, what does Alpine have in store for 2025?
I tell a lot. Well, I don't tell a lot of people because I don't talk to a lot of people, but I don't. And I say this with all respects, but I just want to fuck off for 2 years. And when I say fuck off, meaning I just want to tap into my creativity. I want to record music. I want to make beats. I want to go and like smell the fucking flowers, man. And I want to be able to have moments where I can just tap out from the work and be able to like really center in on like me and the things around me and all that. So that's my definition of fucking off. I want to make some good money. I want to go and try some whiskey in some certain spots.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that type of shit for real, but like respectfully. But to zero down on it, I would love to complete the album that album. It'd be called Everything's Good, Everything's Great. That's the title for it. Everything is good, everything is great. Want to finish that. I just started recording I recorded 2 episodes for Tables Might Wobble 2. So that'll be out like springish. And really just center in like MPN, like I need to make more time to be strategic and intentional. So, I could put this out in the atmosphere, and we talked about this, but like even with Soul Curators, with y'all, like I would love to see us at festivals. You know what I'm saying? Like being on the media tip, or doing that type of stuff, and even on the media tip outside of the media. Like, hell, it would be cool. Like if we can find a spot one night. Goodbye doing a set. Another night, Soup's doing a set. Christina, find something for like I don't know. Like I mean, I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to y'all individually and collectively. But like even with you, Christina, like I don't know. I just see you having like a dope conversation with somebody, like a dope artist, like you know what I'm saying. And it don't have to be like interview. It could just be a conversation, but. It would be cool to expand the Christina Curates brand. And I want to be able to be a part of that type of shit. So I need that time to tap into my creativity and really just have these conversations with people like y'all and just really just manifest a lot of things and see where y'all at and see what we're doing. Because I really want to touch the sky. Like I want to go. If I can go beyond the sky, I want to do it, and I want to do that before I think about going the doctorate route or picking up something that's going to take me 2 or 3 years to, you know what I'm saying, to complete or dedicate to. That's the plans.
That's dope.
I just want to fuck off, y'all. Like when I say, y'all probably gonna hear me say it between now and like January. I'm like, man, I'm trying to fuck off. And when I say fuck off, meaning like go to the studio and sit in the studio for 5 or 6 hours, listening to beats and like getting into that vibe, like that type shit. There's the hand. There's the hand. There's the hand.
When you do this fucking off. And especially when you're sitting in the studio, can you let me know? Because I've actually wanted to be a part of the process of creating an album. Like I would love to just sit and watch that process of creating.
I'm with it. That could definitely be cool, man. I mean, it would be cool to have a little bit more energy around, like the right type of energy around. So yeah, like if it's a moment where I got to set up the cameras and y'all on live or whatever, like I'm totally with that shit. Like, and it could just be you or whatever.
Like I'm driving down. Like I want to be physically there. Like I'm driving.
Nah, that could man. See shit like that. I would make that shit like a retreat. Like I would do like a weekend type of thing, like
the MPN retreat.
Yeah, like an Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 minute we doing a photo shoot, like getting headshots for everybody that's involved in the retreat, and then like go in the studio and record some shit, and then like that nighttime have like a dinner. Like I'm talking about like a laid out dinner. We all get dressed like that type. That's the type of shit. Like that's fucking off right there. That's the fucking off I'm talking about.
Now, it's funny y'all mentioned that because I've always wanted to do like an album intro, like a little, like either an album intro or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how, but I've always wanted to do that.
Say less.
So I'm really on some, you know what I mean?
Say less.
So
say less.
Yeah,
I'm with all that. I'm with all that.
But listen, I told y'all about the idea about the documentary type shit. Like I want to make y'all three like the center points of that documentary. Like,
oh, that'd be crazy.
Like that.
For the Neo Soul joint. For the Neo Soul joint.
Yeah, like
as long as I get to interview that one artist.
I can't. The day that happens, I want y'all to understand how far back in the back seat I'm gonna sit and enjoy this. I'm gonna be like, "This is all on you, bro."
Hey, all of us gonna be in the back seat like this, like,
bro.
Soup's gonna look back and be like, "Y'all got any questions?" We gonna be like, "Hell no, we ain't got no questions." Nah, you got this, brother.
You got it, pimp. Mr. Al Pete, one thing we didn't tap on before we get out of here and let you get into back into your creative space. I've often made highlights of this, sometimes a little bit embarrassingly, the style icon that you are. Only because you be coming through, son. You really do be coming through with it, and I be seeing you, and I got to shout it out. You know what I mean? Like you be on that time, and it's like.
Thanks.
What I love about it is that it's completely unique. It's definitely you. It's never disappointing. I always it's something. It's like you can rely on it, like the sun coming up. Like you're gonna come with something fresh. You mentioned your influence. You mentioned your influence before about your uncle and all of that, but you developed your own style and your own taste. Can you talk about that?
Sheesh. Yeah, that's. I mean, I had to reference him. I have to reference him because he did it. Like he did a lot of like the way that he dressed and the way that he maneuvered in that space, the way that he just looked totally different from everybody. Like he looked different from everybody. And quick story. He when he graduated. Shouts out to all the Vikings that's listening to it. Y'all. I could shout y'all out, whatever. But they get it. he went to Morehouse, and I was going into Reebok, and I remember like getting these pants that everybody was wearing. It was like these shorts, and you get your name stitched on it. I talked about it in Iceman, the song Iceman on Let's Be This Neighborhood album. But he put me to the side and was like, man, look, like do you, whatever you feel in your spirit to put on, you do it. Go for it. And that shit stuck with me forever. And so that's how I adopted Adidas. That's how I adopted trying out different colors. Not being identified as the Floridian. You know what I'm saying? Even though, Florida, we got our colors down here. We'll put on a loud orange in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And a polo orange. Like, I mean, shit, think about FAMU. You know what I'm saying? Like, FAMU got, like, some bright colors. Like, if you don't notice anything about FAMU, man, like, no, that green and that orange, that shit gonna pop. Yep. Like, and everybody's wearing it. It just gives me, like, that Floridian spirit. Like, that's my fond memories of, like, Florida stuff. So, but I didn't have to wear that, you know what I'm saying, to be identified as a Floridian or even, like, Al Peter or whatever. So I just adopted it, man, and just culturally being involved. Like, you see what rappers are doing, what they wearing, and the shoes that they wearing, the way that they're wearing it, like the way that they were wearing it, and like the self-esteem that they had when they wore it. It taught me to do a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I would just try out stuff, all the way from haircuts to the shoes I wear. Like I wear a fucking long sleeve shirt with some shorts, you know what I'm saying, with some long socks, you know what I'm saying, and just rock it like that. But that's just it was just my identification of myself. Like, it made me feel comfortable being in the clothing that I would wear, being an outcast, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, well, right. And that's a side of me, that's a side of outcast that I embrace. I'm like, all right, well, if I'm an outcast, I might well just kind of step into it a little bit more. So yeah, I would come in a basketball game with a bucket hat, you know what I'm saying? And like a bucket hat, low tilted, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with this, like, I would step in the building like this and motherfuckers just be like, oh yeah, that's Al. Like, that's his style. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying?
So
that's what's up.
One thing that I noticed real quick is how you reference your uncle, and you would, as he told you, just be yourself. And you could just be yourself, and you had that uncle that was just like, yo, just be you. You do you realize that you that uncle now? Like, you tell us to be us. Like, it's something that y'all got something. And when I'm listening to you talk about your uncle, a lot of that stuff that you tell us, it feels like you passing that on. And it's like what he gave you, you giving it to others. And that's the biggest thing I noticed out of this conversation, this interview conversation, is that a lot of the stuff that you tell us feels like you're repeating what your uncle did for you. And it's a blessing, because it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, as I'm listening to you talk about your uncle telling you to just be you. And the last conversation I remember you having with us was just like, yo, y'all just be y'all. Like, y'all good at what y'all do, be y'all. And do you realize that that's what you're doing?
No, I don't realize it, but I do. I'm very intentional when I tell people to do them. Like, I don't want to just tell them that and not give any type of reference to it or have any type of anything tapped onto it. And so that's the thing that was missing from me when I was growing up. People would say, "Oh, you have a leadership spirit, blah 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 blah," but it didn't go no further than that. And so I try to make sure that I'm going further than me just saying "do you." Like, I want to be able to enhance, empower. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that. I want to be able to do that outside of me just saying that. So it's a couple steps further that I try to do with that. So I don't realize it, but in a sense, I kind of, now that, when people say that, I can identify with that quickly. I'm like, all right, because my uncle didn't, he didn't necessarily like school me or give me the tools to that degree. I had to go figure that shit out. And I just and when I tell people this, I don't want to leave anybody astray like that. Like, if anything, I'm gonna give you a pack or something and be like, hey, look over this. Let's take time to talk about it. Let's go through it. And at the end of the day, you got my back, and we're gonna make it work. If it can't work, I still got your back. So yeah. But yeah, but I am that uncle for sure. I embrace being an uncle, dog. Like that being an uncle is cool. I don't, you know, I'm cool with that shit.
About you, good bar? Is the unk status okay with you, sir?
Yeah. So, Mr. Alpete, we were talking about fashion on you. So,
lick a shot, lick a shot, lick a shot.
So, I don't know if you've ever heard this podcast before, Mr. Alpete, but sometimes with our guests, what we do is, you know, as you know, we have a love for graphic tees and merch and all of that. And you mentioned that you have a similar love. You even have an event that kind of, you know, speaks to that. So,
yeah, man.
You know, let us see what did you come with some type of graphic, you know, tee or anything
man.
that you can, you know, speak on?
So I am wearing the locks. I went to this.
Oh, that's concert merch.
Yeah, it's concert merch. So yeah, I got the locks or whatnot. Let's see. There we go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and they got
the
schedule in the back. This shirt pretty hard, man. I like the rust choco look to it, and it's you know sometimes when you buy shirts from the concert, man, they don't be. They be like this, and then when you wash them, they be like this. Yeah, so this is really good, man. And I went to their concert in September. That was like one of my top 3 concerts I went to. Which y'all please stick around, because next month we are going to come back and talk about 2024 wrap ups, concerts we went to, and all that stuff. So that's neither here nor there.
Absolutely,
it's my shirt. Yep.
Absolutely, Miss Christina, what's going on?
So I had to pull this one out.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Look at shot! Look at shot! Hey, that's the OG logo right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh man, that was great. That was great.
Soups, tell us how you upset the white people today.
This is my, now I've had this on before. This is my red Black on Purpose hoodie. I wore this to go vote today. It was had a lot of white angry eyes today. But yeah, you know.
I love it. I'm glad I can actually tell the color now. I put my old man glasses on so I can see the color well. Kind of in the same spirit of Soups with the voting thing. I have a shirt from God is Dope. It's called it says Black women are perfect.
Indeed.
Because in my mind they are.
And they are, for sure.
So yeah. So it was like a collaboration also with the breast cancer month as well. So it's in that color pink as well.
Yeah.
So you know, we always keep that in mind and keep our thoughts and prayers with those who have dealt with or are dealing with that. But it just seemed like the perfect season. Black women are perfect, and you know they're gonna. Hopefully, it continues the world can see that going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick before we go, y'all, since we on the breast situation, my mom, she rung the bell last Wednesday.
Praise God.
Yeah, man.
Praise God.
Yeah, man. So round of applause for that. Yeah, so I just this is close to my chest, but I definitely want to shot that out, man. She runs
salute.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later, y'all. I know it's Soups know about it because he reached out, and at that moment it was like, ugh. So I let him know. But I definitely want to give my mom a shout out for being a fucking warrior, man, and
absolutely
praying that this shit never fucking happens again. So
absolutely. Salute to the queen. Salute to the queen.
Indeed.
Yes.
Listen, Mr. Alpete, before we wrap this incredible, very informative conversation up, For those who need to catch up or get familiar with your artistic and creative output, can you please let them know where they need to go to experience what we've experienced?
Indeed. So, from the creative standpoint, go to mralpete.com, MRALPETE.com. That's the stuff that's centered around the MCing, the DJing, journalists, that type of stuff too. From the MPN standpoint, you can go to MPN-LLC.com. Check that stuff out. On the socials, you can go to, on the socials is at Mr. Alpete. And then on the socials for MPN is MPN Management. So, yep, that's where you can go find the things at. You definitely can find Soul Curators on MPN and all that great stuff.
Absolutely. Well, sir, we want to thank you again for spending time with us this evening, for most importantly, being vulnerable with us and trusting us with your vulnerability, and allowing us to introduce you to some people who may not be familiar. They know your name, but they may not know your story. And, you've given them a lot of context to why you are as revered as you are. And I hope they see what we see when we see you. You know what I mean? So thank you again.
Indeed. Thanks for having me, y'all. I listen, I appreciate y'all individually and collectively. And I thank y'all so much, man. I thank y'all so much.
Much blessings. So for real. Soups, thank you so much, sir. And congratulations on that news you gave us. We're looking forward to that.
Hold on, Soups. Do the hand real quick.
Okay, do the hand.
I just had to do that for meme reasons. Thank you so much. I would give me about 24 to 48 hours. It will pop up on your Twitter feeds.
Christina Curates, thank you so very much for all that you do.
My head was like this.
I would listen, brother. I will cut it out and make sure that it fits smooth.
Thank you.
Shout out to my sis. Thank you
as well. Thank you for holding it down.
That's facts.
Appreciate y'all. Love.
Thanking us.
It's love.
You too.
We got to give you your flowers, because like the way you can introduce people, the way that you talk, your mixes. I mean, we wouldn't be where we at without you. Like, it's truly a blessing that you here a part of this. And like Mr. Goodbar, Miss Christina Curates, you guys are some of the greatest people I've known. And just being able to.
You can't not name your, little brother. Little brother also definitely gives us.
You know what it is.
It's pop to this. We wouldn't be so curators without little brother.
It's y'all, man. Like I look up to y'all. Like I don't want to be all emotional and shit, but like y'all put me in this thing, and I'm learning so much from y'all, and I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate just being a part of this. Mr. Alpete, Christina Curates, Goodbar, like y'all are truly a blessing. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. Thank y'all for including me in this. And this has been a blessing.
Oh,
it's a blessing. It's a blessing to find your tribe. It is a blessing to find your tribe, especially when you've been looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
So listen. To all of our listeners, all of the people who are watching, I hope you guys truly enjoyed this very, very special episode of the Soul Curators podcast with Mr. Alpete. Please make sure that you are following him on all of his socials, his website, everything related to him, and make sure you run this music up. You know what I'm saying? And he got more coming, so get it up so you can get ready for the next, and continue to support the Soul Curators podcast. This has been an amazing season, and we got some more for you. So just stick with us.
We got the finale. We got the finale coming up, and then we got some good stuff in December, man. We're gonna pop up on y'all straight up.
Hey,
y'all ain't ready. Y'all are not ready.
We ain't let everybody know too. When y'all watching this interview with Mr. Alpete, we didn't rehearse any of this shit. He didn't know any of the questions we was gonna ask him. None of that shit. This is all straight. We just interviewing him as we didn't know him. So I don't want people, they know this nigga. They no. These are straight, off the cuff questions, and we just asking him, Mr. Alpete, like he was just anybody else. So enjoy.
And to all the artists, to all the other artists who are watching, who have gotten wind of us, who heard about us or saw one of your favorite brothers or sisters on the Soul Curators podcast getting interviewed, you too can be part of this experience. So all you got to do is reach out to us on all our social medias. Soul Curators is on Instagram. All you got to do is shoot us a DM, and let's get it popping. Let's get it out here.
You talking to a particular artist? Because I'll call them out. We talking to you.
It's this dude who out of Detroit.
I thought we was talking about the other dude in the Carolinas area.
The dude in the Carolinas. Yeah, I mean, whenever that dude in the Carolinas want to get to it, you know what I'm saying? He know where home at. Yo, this has been great. Thank y'all for joining us on this episode of the Soul Curators podcast. Stay tuned as we get ready to wrap the season up. We wish y'all peace and love.
Don't forget the playlist we're gonna have with Mr. LP's music.
I'm so ready.
Please understand it's coming
for that one, boy. All right, y'all.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Soul Curators podcast, powered by the MPN Network. You can check us out on all streaming platforms where podcasts are available.